The Creator is a very entertaining movie to say the least. The story was very good. And quite frankly, this is a film that I believe everybody should check out because it is well worth the effort. I just don't understand why this film had gotten so many negative reviews. What I found with this was a movie that had surprised me because quite frankly, I didn't know if this one was worth the time. So the story of this one is that it takes place in the future. There is a war between humans and artificial intelligence. And so a military sergeant finds out there is a young AI child named Alfie that he must protect from the robots because they want to use the young AI child as a weapon in the war. And from there, it's one of the better movies I have seen this year. I'm not saying this one is Oscar worthy, but certainly there is so much I enjoy about it. The visual effects, the acting, the direction, and just how entertaining this whole movie was. One of my questions I had going into this one was this film going to be worth the time? Was it going to be another run-of-the-mill cliche AI movie that we all seen throughout the years? Or was it going to be something really special? And even though I wouldn't call this one of the year's best movies, it has such a strong narrative that it makes watching this film very compelling in my opinion. At the end of the day, while this movie doesn't reach its full potential, it's still such a dramatic journey, and I didn't find this one boring at all either. Now, as much as I like this film, the issue I had with it was there really wasn't any world building. Yeah, they showed the AI robots fighting the humans, but that was only part of it. What about how the rest of the world feels? There's this country named New Asia in the movie, but we don't see much of what happens outside the war. I want to see more of what was going on between the relationships between AI and humans. Not just that, but I thought the characters that were interesting. John David Washington did a good job playing this military sergeant. He lost his wife. He lost his unborn child in the beginning of the movie. And so he comes across Alfie. Then it gives him a new sense of purpose in order to protect him. And speaking of Alfie, I thought that Madeline Univoyes did such an incredible job. Not bad considering this was her first movie role. Not just that, she's the heart of the story. She had some emotional moments. And generally, the chemistry between those two actors just really made the film for me. I felt like if their chemistry wasn't as strong, then I probably wouldn't have liked this film as much. I mean, the action scenes was cool and all, but I would really like to see a 3-hour cut. This movie's too short, which is, ironically enough, it's over 2 hours, but an extra hour would really benefit a movie like this. Allison Janney actually did a decent job playing the villain. Her motivations weren't deep enough. What I mean by that is, well, she just sees it as a way to turn off machines. There wasn't a great depth to her character. Still though, when it comes down to it, this is an entertaining movie. It's enjoyable. Sure, there's some plot holes, and a longer runtime really would benefit this into a great spectacle. But overall, this is a film that I had such a fun time with, and certainly it was quite the surprise as well. I'm giving this film an 8 out of 10. When I found out the budget of this one was $80 million, I was very impressed, simply because the budget of modern day sci-fi movies would end up being a lot higher than that. Now, this one did have some interesting ideas, but it didn't fully discover the themes of artificial intelligence in humans. I really felt like that was the key ingredient that was missing in this movie, but it wasn't enough to say, oh, this film's downright awful. It's quite the adventure, it's quite the thrill ride, and certainly when it comes down to it, this is a film that, while not everybody is going to like, it still had a coherent plot, plus the dynamic chemistry between Joshua and Alfie is undeniably one of the best parts about this movie. And that is my review of The Creator. Okay, leave your comments down below in the section and let me know what you think about this movie if you have seen it. Alright, this is Slim Guy 172 saying peace out.